today I'm going to do a request and I'm going to cover respiratory tract infections in your monitor lizard. This also can apply to some other reptiles, but I'm not going to hit on that. I'm going to be pro monitor. Okay, first thing I'm going to go through is some basics that you guys aren't going to want to sit through, but you're going to have to in order for me to give you the broader picture of what's going on. Okay, number one, you have two types of lungs. Well, there's probably another type, but I'm going to go over these two types. You have unidirectional, you have bidirectional. Unidirectional lungs, basically what it is, unidirectional flow is avians, which is birds, and reptiles, and we're going to say monitor lizards. Basically, a large amount of oxygen comes in. It's the actual airflow has more oxygenated, and it actually allows, and it goes in and comes straight out. Okay, it doesn't do anything special. Bidirectional is what mammals have. So when the air comes in, it goes through all the different places, through your trachea, everything else, and all these other places in your body, which I'm not going to pronounce, and I'm not going to put you guys through it. Okay, so it stays a little longer, becomes a little bit more stale, but old air mixes it with new air. The unidirectional flow of air, that's what your monitor is actually, that's how they live. Okay, it allows them to, in theory, survive at higher or lower altitudes, things like that. And it also allows them to metabolize a whole lot better than us. Okay, blah, blah, blah. They're still researching that, so a lot of my information may change 10, 15 years from now, but this is what it is. Basically, they take in way more oxygen than we do at one particular time, and it goes in and comes straight out. Okay, so they also are more susceptible to negative biological factors if they're there. And I'll hit on that a little bit later also. Okay, now, the second phase of this is that when you talk about respiratory tract infections, or RTI, the first thing everybody says is go to your veterinarian. What a lot of people don't know, and this is basically, I'm going to say, is for more the veteran monitor owners, is that you can retrofit a Kong dog cage, and and if you're lucky enough for it to happen around summertime, you can hook a humidifier up to the bottom of the cage, like I did for my monitor when I first adopted it, and the fresh air alone will heal the monitor. Because the RTI comes from abject living conditions. Abject meaning basically unlivable and unbearable, give or take. Definition. So basically what happens is when you don't change the water in your monitor cage, when you don't feed it optimal food, okay, when it's stressed out and you're handling it way too much, okay, all of this can factor in. The animal can become lethargic, tired. It's going to start gasping. You're going to see it open its mouth a whole lot more. It may start salivating at the mouth. There's a lot of different signs, and it could be a lot of different things, but the most common thing is RTI, respiratory tract infection. Now, that being said, how do you cure that? Okay, if you can't afford the vet, if you don't want to pay the $125, but you're going to charge you when you take it there, basically all I can tell you to do is empty out the water every day. Have that cage spotless, okay? I use chlorhexidine to clean all my enclosures. I'm not going to tell you guys to use that, but try your best to keep your enclosure nice and clean and keep the water changed every day, not every other day. If your animal has respiratory tract infection, you have to make sure that there are no negative biologicals in the air. Because remember, this is a unidirectional airflow type of animal. So what's happening? It's sucking in everything it doesn't need to suck in. So as opposed to if it was a rat or something else or whatever, a cat or dog, you had them close in the area, it would take a little bit longer to get sick. Humans get RTI as well. Okay, but you got to look at right now that you have this thing in a box. Regardless of how you look at it, it's in a box in an even smaller isolated area. So you need to clean it. You need to not handle your monitor as much. Okay. The next step is that what you're going to do is you're going to basically, if you do get antibiotics, you're going to have to regulate the ambient air temperature steady day and night so that the animal's immune system can boost up and use the antibiotics. Okay. That's after you take it to the vet, this, that, and the other. If you find your animal gasping a whole lot, there's nothing really you can do when it's gotten that severe. There are different levels. You have, I'll say, there's minor symptoms and there's severe symptoms. I usually, whenever my animals catch it, and it's always when I get a new animal, because I don't know where it came from, and that's just something we all deal with. I deal with it I just give it fresh air, I keep an ambient temperature, keep the food clean, food is clean, water's clean, environment's clean. And I usually can go over it, don't need a vet. But if it's gasping repeatedly, and you can tell when a monitor is gasping, just especially if you have a water monitor or any monitor has an extended neck. You know what I mean? Your now monitors, your Ackies, whatever you want to call it, because you'll basically be able to see them. They'll sit there and they'll swallow repeatedly. You know what I mean? And hardly, and then they'll sit there and their mouth will be open a whole lot. Okay? So basically all I can say is take it to the vet, get the antibiotics, regulate the ambient temperature, feed it right, keep it clean. Holla at your boy. If you need to know anything else, I'll go ahead and post another video. I'm trying not to be too technical, so this video was kind of hard for me because I kind of want to say a whole bunch of terms that nobody really cares about. Holla at your boy.